yeah, they within 3 days had their house sold, and we're moving on to the next. Where a few months earlier they had, I can't see a way out of this. I can't see a way out of this. And Kevin, as you know, there's always a way out, isn't there?
Of course.
There's always a way out.
My name is Kevin McIntosh, and this is The Closing Table, where we talk to experts about their experience in real estate all across the country. Let's go. Table. I'm your host, Kevin C. McIntosh, and join us on this episode, another real estate professional. Get ready to get educated. We want to welcome Jay Whitaker to The Closing Table. How are you, Jay?
Kevin, I'm doing very well. Thank you.
Hey, thank you so much. So we're here to talk real estate, more specifically you and how you handle real estate in your market. But before we get there, let's talk about you as an individual. Just tell us a little bit about yourself in 60 seconds. Tell us who you are outside of real estate.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, no, so I'm a married man. My wife and I've been together since high school. This next month it'll be 39 years of marriage. So in that time we've done, thank you, we've done a lot of great things. But the proudest is our three children. We have three adult children, two in the area here with us, and our youngest, she lives in Chicago in Lincoln Park. So she's making her way through the world out over there in Chicago. And the reason we're in downtown Cedar Rapids right now talking to you is we had 4 years ago, I retired from a career in law enforcement. And when I told my wife I was thinking about retiring, which shocked her, she said, well, I want to move to Cedar Rapids because we, at that time we had our daughter living up here with her husband, and they had one grandchild and one on the way. So the grandkids brought us up here. And we've been up here three years now, this past November. And in that meantime, our son and his wife have had started having other kids. And so now we have 5 grandchildren with 2 more coming in 2024.
Oh, nice.
From two families. So
nice.
I know, it's fantastic. So we're going to have 7 grandkids, 6 and younger. Thank you.
Nice.
But yeah, so I found myself. I like to stay busy. So my wife's the one that suggested real estate, and she knows me well, of course. Been all these years together. She just, I'm a problem solver. I like working with and helping people, and it's never once felt like a job. It's truly it's a kind of a passion of mine. It's helping and working through the issues and problems that come with everyday real estate.
I love to hear that, Jay, for so many different reasons. First and foremost, family man. Love to hear that. Love to hear that. But secondly, thank you for your service as a retired officer. So thank you for that.
Kevin, thank you for.
No, please.
No, it's tough to hear that. I mean, I'm very humbled every time I hear that, and I do appreciate it. And the men and women that are out there and whether protecting our country, protecting our communities, serving our communities, they need that. They need that thanks and uplift them because that's when you put yourself out in a community to help and serve. It's not the easiest job.
Yes.
But it is very rewarding. It is very rewarding. So thank you for saying so.
And we need them in every market that we talk about real estate in. So we definitely just want to acknowledge that first and foremost.
Thank you, Kevin.
But what I also want to congratulate you on is the fact that you made a successful career change. That's not always easy, especially when you're retiring from one. When you're retiring from one industry and then you go to a completely different industry, you're just kind of, finding yourself again in some way. So to step out and on a limb and then to be a few years into it, be successful and to have a story to tell, man, like I said, I want to congratulate you on that too.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. And it trust me, it took a year or so before I mean, I had that identity within my community. I was a uniformed police officer for
Yep.
decades,
Yep.
and I was
Yep.
seen as, no matter if I had the uniform on or not, I was Officer Whitaker to a lot of people, or
Correct.
they knew me as that police officer,
Mm-hmm.
uh, t- when you step away from that, I mean, you lose that identity, and I'm very fortunate to. You're right. I'm very
Yeah.
fortunate to find
Yeah.
something that I have such passion for. Very similar to what I had as a police officer. Same
Mm-hmm.
love and passion.
Yeah, I would imagine. Same thing like a retired athlete going into a
Yes,
different
sir.
profession, or a superhero. Superman calling it quits and wanting to be
Yep.
a newspaper journalist or something. Who knows?
Yep.
But anyway.
Yep. Exactly.
But okay, so let's get into your actual real estate profession. That's where we are now.
Okay.
So let's
Yeah.
talk
Yeah. Yeah.
about
Yeah.
it. I
Yeah.
want you to just describe your real estate business if you can. And if you can hit on a few
Okay.
key points, how long you've been licensed specifically, your niche or specialty, and any notable achievements.
Okay. Well, thank you. So yeah, I'm licensed on my birthday, December 2019, and December 11th of 2019. And then, so, here it is, 2020, new year. I'm ready to go, moving into a new community. And then COVID struck. So that first year was difficult for newer agents. I mean,
Mm,
I felt it, but I had a lot of experienced agents tell me the same thing that newer agents were because what's this business about? It's about being out and about and meeting people.
right.
And with COVID, that was tough to do that, especially that first year. But from there on, I mean, I found a great company here in Cedar Rapids, a family-owned company, and a lot of support there. And things start opening up where I got to be in front of people, but I just know so many people in Eastern Iowa, and I started having some referrals, and that's where it started opening up. And my business has been about 50-50 sellers to buyers. It's just kind of, I'm not working one way or the other. I'm just trying to learn and understand how
Okay.
to help people, be it a buyer or seller. Uh, but it's fallen in 2021, 2022, and then 2023 as about 50-50 split as for buyers and sellers. And I'm not trying to work it that way. It just has
Hmm.
happened to become that. But I enjoy working with buyers, especially first-time home buyers, those who don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
And my wife and I talked about that. We bought two homes in our life, and we both said we had no clue what we were doing when we were buying. And so I'm wanting to help
Hmm.
others kind of
Hmm.
uh, help answer those questions they have and help show them that path.
Yeah. Yeah. I always got to give a special nod to the agents who like to work with first time home buyers, because you got to have the
Hmm.
patience of a preschool teacher. Like, it's completely different. Like, you could say you're a
It is.
teacher, okay, that's cool. But if you're a preschool or kindergarten teacher compared to like maybe a middle school, elementary, high
Yeah.
school teacher, you got to have a different level of patience. You understand?
Yes,
So
sir. That's
working with
right.
first time home buyer, that's what I kind of compare it to. Like, but I mean, obviously you're an educator, but you're
Yeah.
educating people
Yep.
to a point where they like you say, they don't know. You don't know what you
Yep.
don't know. So
Yeah, exactly. And I probably at times over explain to them, but I'm all right with that because I want to make sure that they got all the information they can to
mm-hmm.
help them
Mm-hmm.
make a good decision. Because as I say, I'm going to give you the information, but you're always in charge. Think about that, Kevin. That's
Correct.
I that bring. I just turned 60 last month, and I deal with a lot of 20-year-olds, and 30-year-olds, and they're looking at me like, hey, these are my parents' age or whatever. I always emphasize to them,
Yeah.
don't forget, you're in charge.
Mm-hmm.
I will take the path you put me on. I will give you the information. I will help you, but you're
Mm-hmm.
still in charge. It's up to you. This is your purchase, not
There you
mine.
go. There you go.
And I think that's
Empower them.
important.
Yeah,
Yep.
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 Especially with this
Empower them.
transaction. Yeah, I love
Yes,
that. I
sir.
love that. Great that you're
Yep.
doing it. So Cedar Rapids, Iowa. That's where we are.
Yep.
Cedar Rapids,
Yes.
Iowa.
Downtown Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Yes, it's the
Okay.
second largest city in the state of Iowa. And I'm an
Okay.
Iowa boy, born and raised here, lived my whole life on the eastern side of Iowa.
Okay.
But I can't. I'm from Keokuk. That's where I was born and raised. My family was our kids were raised down there and all that. That's where I was a police officer, kept the police department.
Okay.
It's a smaller community, about an hour and a half south of us, hour and 45 miles
Okay.
south of us.
Okay.
So living in a larger community, I love. I just, it's vibrant, it's growing. I enjoy the activities. I really enjoy watching it grow and build. There's a lot going on around here.
There you go.
So, and it's an industrial community. Cedar Rapids is, and Keokuk is very much so an industrial community also. So, I'm
Okay.
very familiar with that lifestyle, that feeling of the community.
Gotcha.
Working.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. How's the weather there around this time of year? We're currently in
Well,
January, winter
we're in
season,
January. Yeah,
right?
we've dealt with over a foot of snow last Friday, and now we've been dealing with below zero temperatures. But what's
Same.
interesting is the Midwest, and the 4 to 5 weeks leading up to that was 30s and 40s the whole
That's true.
time
That's
until
true.
last week.
Mhm.
And next week is, I mean, I'm not one that looks at the weather ahead of time, but we were discussing this morning at breakfast about how next week's supposed to be in the 30s and
Yep.
rainy. So
Yep.
you just
Yep. Same here.
it's ever
Same
changing,
here.
and you're in Michigan, right? So
Correct. Correct.
yeah, yeah, and so you know how that is. It's very
Mhm.
similar, I'm sure.
Yep. So no, I get it. And I want to ask just for clarification, just to paint that picture for people who may have never been there. Like I've never been to Cedar Rapids, Iowa, but not the exact same as far as weather. But I love how it sounds like it has its own whole different style, culture, environment there. You know, you said more of
Yep.
an industrial type town,
Here in
also
Cedar
something
Rapids,
I'm a
it
little
is.
familiar with. Right, right.
Yep,
Okay.
yep, yep.
Beautiful.
My grandfather worked in the steel mill. My dad worked in a rubber processing plant. My
Mm,
brothers worked in, and I worked in a factory for a short period. I mean, I connected. I just Keokuk was very heavy industry
right,
down there.
right, right,
So
right.
being in this community with the same backgrounds, very familiar to me.
Gotcha.
But with that
Okay.
said, just 30 miles south is Iowa City, and of course, the university, home of the University of Iowa and the Hawkeyes, of course, and it's in the University of Iowa hospital, so it's a
Mhm.
little bit
Mhm.
different feel with a 30-minute drive, and
Oh.
yeah, and so
Oh, okay.
it's that's what's interesting about
So it's
this
it's
area.
more of a city. Is it more of a city vibe down there,
That's a
or
good. It's a college town, of course, a university
right?
town,
Okay.
and so
Yeah.
you have
Okay.
that.
I get
So
that.
we have Cedar Rapids has great theaters and arts and museums, but so
Right.
does Iowa City to support
Right. Right.
that the university has brought in, and of course with all the college kids
Mhm.
and that and what the community needs to educate our future generations.
No, 100%. I'm kind of I try to compare it to other markets and situations I've kind of been in, but it's kind of similar to where we are. We're like 30 miles south of East Lansing, home of Michigan State University.
You bet, you
Exact.
bet.
Yep. Probably exact same feeling. I get it.
It's gotta be. Yeah, it
Yeah.
has to be. Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
East Lansing, which I've never been to, has to feel a lot like Iowa City.
All right, good. So let's talk about what people want to hear: the economics, the data that you have in regards to real estate in your market. What do we have in terms of average pricing, average list to sale price, days on the market? Anything that you could tell us in regards to your market?
Sure, sure. So what's interesting is how, and it's like this in all markets, I'm sure, but how prices have come up over the last 5 years. But
Yeah.
in Cedar Rapids, we're looking at 225 to 230 on the average home price. Now,
Okay.
Iowa City's different. It's closer to 320, but Cedar Rapids is at that. It sits around that 225 to 230.
hmm
Right now, the average day on the market is around 30 days. Around
Okay.
30 days is what we're experiencing. Of course, in 2021, 2022, it was single
Selling
digits.
like,
It was
yeah, I
so,
know. Couldn't keep
yes,
them
sir.
on the. Yeah, yeah. I get it. I get it.
So that's what I came into. Multiple offers, dealing with as a listing agent. I'd have 5 or 6 offers come in and work with my clients on deciding which ones are they should consider seriously and which
hmm
to now it's working with sellers. uh, the homes are sitting on the market a little bit longer. So it's a
Yeah,
different conversation, and
yeah.
all within 3 years.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah,
It is crazy. I would imagine it is crazy from your experience starting right
it,
there, right before the pandemic, and then getting and like being in the eye of the storm and then coming out of it and seeing how everything is kind of evolving afterwards. That I know that was probably a whole process where it was like filtering real estate agents also. They were probably like signing up and dropping off like flies
a
too.
lot of
Like it
that.
probably made or break you in that entire 3 year
There's
period, 3-4 year period.
there's a lot of that, Kevin. And
Hmm.
I I I take my experience in law enforcement helped that it helped me through that time. As a police officer, you are juggling several things at once.
Hmm.
I was fortunate enough to receive promotion through those years, and one of my favorite positions was a captain overseeing a shift on the streets for midnights.
Right.
And there was a lot of juggling, dealing
Hmm.
with two or three, four, five calls at one time, and not having
Yeah.
enough officers, and whatever that brings. So now in 2021, 2022, I'm working with four or five offers at one time. That juggling, I was very calm and collected. It's going to work out because so many years working those nights, and me and three or four others trying to work our way through these calls. It was always going to work out. I always used to say, well, one or two things are going to happen. This is all going to quiet down, and we're going to be all, and everything's going to work out, or we're going to get to shift change, and the next shift's coming in. So
I know, right?
there's always that looking ahead and saying, yeah, let's keep working towards this. Let's keep working towards this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good. I love the comparison too. I love it because it's the same thing. My girlfriend works in healthcare as a nurse and at the hospital.
Yes.
Just as high paced,
Yep.
fast demanding. Very short staffed. Also, so you're dealing with a lot. I love how you make those parallels, and it's the same thing with a real estate agent. Like you're juggling so much at one time, different offers, different homes that you're trying to find
Yep.
for
That's
clients.
right.
So, oh man, it's so many moving parts. Only people, and I always like to say, only people who are built for that, are made for that, can sustain in that. Because other than that,
Yeah.
you're gonna have a difficult career, a difficult time. Speaks to
Yeah.
your
Thank you.
your 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 success, man. But speaking of your success, I see that you're on the board of the Cedar Rapids Association of Realtors, board of
Yes, sir.
directors for this
Yep.
for this year, 2024.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
2024. Well, thank you. I'm humbled and honored to be asked. It was agent on there who had a life change and had to move out of state. And so I was asked to sit on and fill his position for 2024, as you just mentioned.
Hmm.
And I, whenever I've been asked to do something to step up, I can't remember a time I've said no. There may be, I've lived long enough there. I may have forgetting some, but
Hmm.
in recent memory, for sure, I've always stepped up and said, "Let's get this done." Um, and I really enjoyed the couple months that I've been on there. And I'm looking forward to this 2024 year and serve it. And I'm going to put my name in the hat. I know already. I'm going to put my name in the hat for to fill a term
There it
with.
is.
Yep. So
There it is. Yeah, yeah. So what are your expectations? What are your responsibilities being part of this board?
yeah, sure. So what we oversee the what past boards have put into play, and to move our board and keep our board engaged and active,
Hmm.
keep those moving forward. Of course, overseeing the financial end of it, and helping to keep us afloat and keeping us, strong.
Right, right.
And by doing so, that allows us. We do a fantastic job. Uh, uh, Cedar Rapids Board of Realtors does a fantastic job with training, offering training. A lot of it's free. Um, and throughout the year, working with agents and helping them understand really uh, why it's important to be involved with the board, to show the community that we are here to support the community. They support us. We're here to support the community also.
Okay, good, good. Basically, be a resource, a great resource, for any agent that is within the Cedar Rapids area or the Cedar Rapids market. I would assume,
Yes, sir.
and just
Yes, sir.
provide them, like you said, with the training and any other type of information that they may need, especially for first, like we said. Agents that are just starting off that may need that
Yeah.
extra push, may need to find out which direction should I go to as far as a brokerage. Does a brokerage really even matter? I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure, that's all very,
Yeah.
very useful information for them.
It is. And I've always been one to be involved, and I got involved with a public relations committee on the board, and then I would be involved through the year in different events that they would have. Um, and it is important. It's as important for me to know and know other agents and truly know them as it is to find clients.
Right.
Um, because that creates smoother transactions down the road when you're working with, it's not like, all of a sudden you go, okay, I know that agent. I sat on a committee
Mm-hmm.
with them, or I
Mm-hmm.
met them at this event last summer.
Correct.
Yeah, that's important because we all should be doing the same thing, and that is uh, creating a professional agent to help people that are looking at us for help. Are looking
Mm-hmm.
to us for help.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So they don't feel like they're just out there on their own
That's
after they
right.
get their real estate license. So I get it.
Yep.
Love that. Love that. So since we already know that you spent, your time as a law enforcement officer, I want to see if there was maybe a time where you kind of use your spidey senses in a way of helping a client, not only find a property that would be best for them and their safety in regards to their safety, but maybe you also apply some of your, some of the things that you've learned as an officer to, their tactics as well as keeping their home safe, just in general. Has that ever been a situation by any chance?
I I can't think of one example about. I've been asked about neighborhoods and safety and whatnot, and I do have uh, ideas and I can show you some things to. Situational awareness is your biggest. Yeah, that's what you need to take care of is being
Mm-hmm.
aware of where you're at and your situation that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most important thing. Uh, my skill in law enforcement and helping others in real estate has been my patience. I just and that knowing that there's always an answer. I just that has helped my clients and folks I've been helping more than anything is my patience and knowing there's always an answer.
There it is.
And that came about this last summer when I was asked to help someone who had a home and it was they just didn't see a way out as far as getting it sold. They didn't think it could happen, and they with a couple three meetings and talking it over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they bought in with what the path I gave them and yeah, they within 3 days had their house sold and we're moving on to the next. Where a few months earlier they had, I can't see a way out of this. I can't see a way out of this. And Kevin, as you know, there's always a
Yeah.
way out, isn't there?
Of course. Of
There's
course.
always
Yeah.
a way out, and it just takes that extra set of eyes and someone who's willing to, and it was my lowest. I mean, as far as a home sold, it was under $50,000. I mean, but it never. That doesn't matter. What
Mm-hmm.
matters is I had this person looking at me going, they wanting help. That's what mattered to me, and I was humbled and honored and ready to go to work. And that's together, him and I got him where he needs to get going.
Man, I love that you don't overlook those home prices and those
Yeah.
clients that want those transactions, because I've been pretty consistent with having agents on who actually say, "Hey, I don't mind." I've taken those clients that wanted a home for 75,000,
Yep.
60,000, 50,000. That
Yep.
speaks to your character. I want the audience to really, take that in, because I mean, you can really test an agent sometimes. They won't even answer your phone calls if they know that you're
Yeah.
trying to get a property or sell a property that's less than 100,000 or less than whatever they
Yeah.
feel is feasible for them. So to
Yep.
have that on your record that you were a part of a transaction that a lot of agents would just brush off of their desk is
I,
another example of what you do to show how great you are and successful as an agent.
and Kevin, I thinking back, I want to make sure because I'm here. I hope to have something here to help another agent, right? I mean, that's why
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting here with you. And this is one thing I've learned from that transaction. I always told myself that I would use professional photography when listing a home. And this home listed, like I said, it's under 50,000. I think it's 39,000 is what we listed it at.
Whew.
And I still used a professional photographer. And when my photographer and I met, and he's seen the condition of the home, he asked, he goes, "How do you want me to do this?" I said, "I want you to treat this like it's a $500,000
He
home.
said,
I really do." And it worked because I told him, I said, "I don't want agents or buyers to be coming here and go, 'Oh, I didn't know it was going to be like this.' I want them to know what they're walking into."
right, right,
And that
right.
I
True.
learned, Kevin, from that. That's just how I wanted to do it. And I didn't know how it was going to play out,
Mm-hmm.
but it did play out to the advantage of my client, my client,
There you go.
because those buyers knew what they were walking into. There was
Mm-hmm.
we didn't. It was a professional photographer. You took this, used his skill as if he was taking pictures of a $500,000 home, and it was beneficial.
Yeah, yeah. Kudos to your photographer getting that job done and
Yep,
and
I
and
agree.
doing and getting and you know what I'm saying. Let With that actually just made me think of something. I
Uh
was
huh.
thinking of this, or maybe I talked about this with someone else, but which do you find to be more effective when you are posting the photos of your listing? The very first photo, which was would be like the main
Hmm.
draw. Do you
Hmm.
is it do you get more engagement with the outside, the exterior of the home, or of a picture of the interior?
Yeah, it depends on the property, is my experience. And right
Mm,
now, I've got a good example of that on the southwest side. I've had a home that is, it's gonna, it's has a garage, a detached 3.5 stall garage
hmm.
that is awesome place for someone who's into cars or into their toys or whatever. And and I knew that, but I didn't. That first picture was not of the home in that garage. The first picture was on the front of the home, like you normally do.
Hmm.
And I was having trouble getting traction for getting buyers to go through the home. So after a couple weeks, I switched it out to the aerial photo where it showed that
Ooh,
garage and the
yeah,
home together.
yeah,
That was the first picture, and right off the bat, I started getting showings, and so that just showed me that and it just depends on the property, but what no, it's going to sell that property, right? It may be a
yep,
kitchen,
yeah,
it
yeah,
may be a 3 stall garage. Who knows? But what you should know after, what do I need to show off here? And that showed me that you need to show off what shines, and that garage shines. The whole home's nice. Everything about the house
yeah.
is nice, but what stands out is that garage.
Yeah. Oh man, just as soon as you said it and you said the aerial shot, I just thought of it. I was like, man, that does sound. It just sounds way better. Like just seeing the whole land. You get to see the land.
Yep,
Especially if it's
yep,
kept up. You get to see like the roof and like you said, the
yes,
garage
sir.
if it's one attached. That's well done. Well done
And you
right there.
Yeah, and you
Well
stand out,
done,
right?
man.
You're flipping
Yeah.
through homes and you're seeing front of house, front of house, front of house. All of a sudden,
Correct. Correct.
what's this? That's an aerial view of
Hmm.
a 3 stall garage and the home, and
Yep.
you stand out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like that. I like that. Plus, you get a little scope of the neighborhood, which is also important. And speaking of the neighborhood, I wanted to speak on the fact on your digital platforms, you post a lot of information about things in the neighborhood, businesses, restaurants that
Yep.
are in the neighborhood. Also, like, how do you feel like this information is helping clients or helping potential clients make a decision on exactly where they want to invest or buy?
Yeah, that's a good question. So when I post things that means I feel something, or it just I was never on Facebook as a police officer, and I wasn't on Facebook my first 6, 7, 8 months as a real estate agent. I kept being
Really?
told, "You need to be on Facebook. You need to be on
Yeah.
Facebook." I said,
Yeah.
I don't need that. It's about meeting people." And yeah, you know, you do need to be on Facebook. You need to be on
Mhm.
social media. You need to let
Mhm.
people know what you're doing. We all do the same thing, right?
Mhm.
Jay Whitaker, who's that guy? And you look him up.
Mhm.
And so, uh, I so new to Facebook and social media, I was thinking, okay, what I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna post what I find interesting, and I do a yeah, I don't do it like I would like to, of course, because we get busy. But I love posting about what's happening in Cedar Rapids or around, and I like supporting the businesses. Um, and I I find something that I enjoy or like. I take a picture of it and try to give a little message of something positive, something that's on my mind, whatever.
Mhm.
Very little about real estate. Very little about real estate.
Yeah.
I have a business page for real estate, but I don't do a lot with that. It just has my information and whatnot. But it's my personal is I'm just trying to connect.
Yeah.
Let people know what I'm thinking and doing, and helping some businesses around town. Hopefully,
Yeah. No, I'm not mad at that. Like I kind of sometimes it gets paralyzing when you overthink what to post on social media.
yeah,
Like you'll get to the point where you don't post at all. And I
that's
mean, as
right.
a business, you gotta keep your presence on digital
Yes, sir.
platforms. You have to. That's where
Yep,
everyone is. So at the end of the day, like you don't want to, like I said, overthink. Just post what you like or
yep.
post,
That's it.
whatever the direction you want the brand to go in. But if you are representing your brand, you are your brand. Like you said, post what you
Yes.
like. People are going to get
Yep.
bored with the same old pictures of house and listings all the time. Trust
Yeah.
me. So
Yep.
mixing it up with things to do, businesses and restaurants, is a good idea. I'm sorry, go ahead,
Yeah.
please.
No, thank you. I feel that. You're going to connect with people that way. I feel.
Mm-hmm.
I've had
Mm-hmm.
several people approach me on the street or in whatever and say, "Hey, I follow you on Facebook," and you're just, it's different. And I mean, I'm 60 years old. I don't know what to think about that. I mean, I appreciate it, but I'm just putting up there what I like.
Yep. Exactly. And that's even more genuine. Man,
Yeah.
I can understand that feeling. I can understand that feeling.
Yeah.
Um, but when we are posting, for an example, listings, which we have to do when we are taking care of
Yep.
business,
Yep.
there's some situations where you might have to post a listing and then maybe it's up so long and then you have to kind of reduce the price
You bet.
per
You bet.
se, right?
Yep.
Now, a lot
Yep.
of people would have a negative connotation associated with a listing that has a now reduced price. And if I'm not mistaken, I think you recently dealt with a
Yep.
situation like this. So, can
Yes,
you
sir.
just talk about how you kind of keep the perspective of a reduced price listing positive and talk about I don't know if you were on the selling side. Well, obviously you were, excuse me. Talk
Yeah.
about the conversation that you had to have with the sellers to reduce
Yeah.
the price.
So the the most important part is communicating with your sellers and being upfront and honest.
All right.
It's just so helpful. I learned that early on. I'd walk into a house and I go, I smell pet smells. Well, they got to smell it too. Well, you just got to be right off the bat. Hey, you know what? I
Yeah.
just happen to, I know you have pets. I can smell, and I've never had any resistance. Okay, okay. I didn't know if you could because we're used to it. And we had dogs growing up. I mean, or raising kids. We had dogs, cat. I
Yeah.
mean, it's part of being a pet owner, right? There's nothing wrong with it. But when you're getting ready to sell your home, you need that honesty
Mm-hmm.
from the
Mm-hmm.
agent that's walking through your front door.
Ooh.
You need that. That seller needs that honesty.
Mm-hmm.
And so I learned that early on. So yeah, when it comes to price reductions, um, it's a conversation that you've got to have, and they know, the sellers know that, hey, it's been a few weeks and we're not having any showings lately, and let's discuss the price reduction. Um, that is how it starts. And then from there, as far as I think the word price reduction is important. That's You'll see that in the very first part of my description. I always use that, capped it. Um, we all like a little bargain. There's not a
Mm-hmm.
person here that doesn't. And so that helps, I hope, to create some, hey, we got a price reduction. Maybe, I'm gonna be able to save some pennies here or save some
Right.
dollars, whatever. And that's what you're trying to generate, that some a little more excitement to get buyers walking through there again.
No, I get it. No, I see. That's how you can adjust your perspective of it, right? You can look at it and say, the price reduced. What's wrong with it? Or you can look at it and
Yeah.
say, oh, this is an opportunity. This is just within my budget. Or maybe they
Yep.
can negotiate, just a little bit less than that, possibly. But
You bet. You
I
bet.
love looking at the other side of it because, like we just talked about, you got to have that conversation with your sellers, and
Yeah.
you got to have that honest conversation too. And that outside perspective, like you said, they may be so used to, I didn't even think about that. They may be so used to the smells and the atmosphere in general, they may be numb to
Sure.
some things that you as a new looker say, okay, this needs to be fixed. I'm smelling something here,
Yep.
blah, blah, blah. And then
Yep.
oh, okay. So this might be something we need to work on if we want, change the perspective for potential buyers. So g-
Yep.
great new things that you just added to the table, because I didn't even think about necessarily having that outside honest perspective with your sellers in regards to the price and just the listing in general. That was
Yep.
good.
It's so
That was good.
important.
Yeah. What about having a disagreement with an agent on the other side of the table, the other side
That's
of
a
the
good one.
closing table? I
Yep.
imagine that you've experienced it. Talk about a
Uh-huh.
situation where it was very intense and then how you kind of just resolved it. Let's say that.
I, I, how do you resolve it is over communicate. I'm working with an agent right now, and we've been working for the last few weeks on a very, it's been a not getting into too many details, but it's been tough for both of us, or both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And I as an agent, I'm a buyer's agent on this one. I I I respect and put myself in the shoes of those sellers, and so I approach it that way. And
Right.
then when it comes to, and we're not at the closing table yet, but we're getting close. And I foresee we're going to make it's going to happen. But the agent on their side and myself we have done a fantastic job. She has, and I feel I have too, communicating, and we don't go days without talking. We talk on a regular basis. We text, we email, or we talk by phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's helped a lot.
Okay.
And so, with that said, over communicating is how you resolve those issues,
No. Well, no.
and
Well said.
and keep your and when things get a little heated, because sometimes they do, because there's a lot of emotions, right?
Mm-hmm.
That go into something like this. Stay calm and collected. If one's not, the other one needs to, and it helps.
I agree. I agree. Keep your head, keep a cool head, stay
Yep.
paid. Just know, like you said, just know that you're working for the best interest of your client and it's not about you more
Yep,
than
it's not
anything.
about,
So
so
yeah,
true. That, yeah, I
yeah.
could have said that any better. And
Yeah.
let others have their say. Without
Correct.
talking.
Correct. Hmm.
Let them. They may take 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes while they talk and go over why they're upset. Let them.
Yeah. No, no, good point. Good
Just
good
sit there and
addition to
listen.
that. Good addition. All right. So Jay, to kind of wrap things up, bring it full circle, I'd like to ask my guest this kind of gives new content for me or my audience to consume. But I want you to name a movie, book, quote, or just philosophy that you live by you could share with us that kind of changed your perspective personally and or professionally.
Sure, Kevin. What I love to read and learn. I think you just never stop learning. And I'm not doing anything special. I just get up each day and I try to be better than the day before.
Hmm.
And some day, it's life. Some days you are, some days you aren't.
Yeah,
But
man.
it doesn't mean you don't keep trying. So
Yeah, man. I love that. Yeah, hey, well said. Simple and plain. I love that.
yep.
Perfect place to land a plane, too. Thank you again, Jay, for actually showing up and pulling up a chair to the closing table. We appreciate that. At this point, if you have any last words and or want to tell people how to reach out to you, the floor is yours.
Kevin, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. I do appreciate it. I feel
Yes.
the energy, and that's
Hmm.
important in life. Uh, Positive and energy. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Facts.
uh, if anyone, I would love. I mean, I would love to help. If any agents out there have any questions or you need a little guidance, you're more. I'd love for you to reach out. Jay Whitaker. My phone number is 319-804-6297. Text, call. You can find me on the web, of course, you on Facebook and Google Business and all that good stuff. So
There it is.
thank you, Kevin, for what you're doing.
Absolutely, Jay. Thank you again, sir. We appreciate it. And for our YouTube audience watching right now, if you got to this point, do us both a favor, hit the like button, hit the share button, and subscribe to our channel. And if you are listening on Apple, Spotify, or any other podcast platforms, please do the same. Give us a like, a 5-star rating, and subscribe for our latest content. And Jay, we're going to leave our audience with a question before we leave. So this is for
Okay.
you. Have you ever purchased a property that did have a price reduction? If so, what was your motivation to purchase it, and how did you feel about the purchase after close? Don't tell us now. Leave it in the description below. Besides that, we'll talk to you next time.